Fans of Ozark are counting down the days until the last 7 episodes of the series air. However, there's already skepticism about what will happen next and what viewers should expect. Luckily, fans have been given a sneak peek of what's to come in Ozark Season 4 Part 2 in a new video published by Netflix ahead of the crime drama's return on April 29th. Stick around to find out everything you need to know about the major spoiler. First up, the major spoiler revealed in new Ozark Part 2 trailer. Ozark Season 4 Part 2 trailer is finally out, and it's all about family, danger, and death. In the first trailer for Part 2, we see Marty wearily complaining to Wendy about having blood on my hands and wonders if it concerns her. In the full-length trailer for Ozark Season 4 Part 2, she merely sighs and sips from a bottle. You're desperate to be the good guy. If the past 3.5 seasons of Ozark have taught us anything, it's that Marty is certainly not a nice guy. However, the most shocking moment in the trailers comes when we see Ruth shooting freshly minted cartel boss Javi Elizondo twice in the chest. For the remainder of the video, it appears that he is indeed dead, while Marty Byrde travels to Mexico in an attempt to restore order. Another huge gap in the Byrde marriage appears to be forming. Marty sympathizes with Ruth, pointing out that her family is no longer alive since she met them. But Wendy responds, "Why do you choose everyone else above your family?" Of course, it's unclear whether Ruth is the one who murdered Javi. After all, it would be an odd spoiler to announce so early in the official trailer, considering Part 1's key cliffhanger was Ruth driving away with the purpose to murder him. It's possible that this is a dream scene, or that Javi will survive his bullet wounds. With only 7 episodes remaining, everything is possible. Then there's the question of the Byrde family's impending car accident. It's not seen in the trailer, but we know it'll happen after the accident in Part 1. There is just so much to cover and clear up in the second half of Season 4, and we can't wait to see how they do it. Now let's talk about the release date. The release date for Ozark Season 4 Part 2 on Netflix has been set for April 29th, so thankfully not too far away. On January 21st, the first batch of episodes was released. Money Heist, another popular Netflix drama, had its last season broadcast in 2 parts last year and had a similar brief follow-up time. The first half was released in September, followed by the second half in December. Netflix also announced the release dates for Stranger Things Season 4 in a 2-part announcement. So, as you see, this is a very popular method of debuting seasons for the most popular series on the streaming platform. Ozark's final season has 14 episodes, which is greater than the previous season's 10 episodes. The 14 episodes were split into 2 halves, each with 7 episodes. So expect that coming into Part 2. Now let's talk about the cast of Ozark Season 4 Part 2. So this one might be quite self-explanatory, but we still wanted to mention who will be returning and who won't. Marty Byrde will return and is played by Jason Bateman, who will be joined by Linney, who will play his wife and accomplice Wendy Byrde. In the future episodes, Sophia Hublitz and Garner will continue their roles as Charlotte and Jonah Byrde, respectively. Garner will also definitely reprise her role as Ruth Langmore in the new episodes, and she will be out for vengeance. Meanwhile, Jessica Frances Dukes will also reprise her role as FBI forensic accountant Maya Miller, who was instrumental in the capture of cartel lord Omar Navarro. At the conclusion of Part 1, Felix Solis will also continue his role as Navarro, who is planning his own release from prison. Damian Young will come back in his role as Jim Rattlesdorf, a Byrde's associate, and Alfonso Herrera will reprise his role as Javi Elizondo, Navarro's hot-headed nephew and subordinate, who has agreed to supply intelligence to the FBI. Finally, Adam Rothenberg will return as Mel Saddam, a private investigator. But will he realize that Ben Davis was not to blame for Helen Pierce's death and the Byrde's connection? And finally, Darlene Snell, Lisa Emery, and Wyatt Langmore, Charlie Tahan, 2 key characters who were brutally murdered by Javier in the final moments of Part 1, causing Ruth to seek vengeance, will not be returning. However, there will most likely be plenty of opportunities for the pair to come back in flashbacks. So will Season 4 be the last? Well, yes, Ozark Season 4 is in fact the show's final season. Netflix has stated that Ozark will end after Season 4, but it appears to be content with making the conclusion a true television event. Showrunner Chris Mundy had stated that the series could continue on for longer, so ending on Season 4 appears to be a little deviation from his original plan. During a panel discussion with The Hollywood Reporter, he noted, "We've always spoken about it as 5 seasons, but he continued to state that 4 seasons always felt like a good number to them, and if they continued, the show would have felt dragged out, which is something we know can absolutely ruin a great series." Furthermore, actor Felix Solis of Omar Navarro told various media sources that all beautiful things must come to an end, which we definitely agree with. It appears that the crime drama will land as well, with Garner, who plays Jonah Byrde, assuring various media outlets that the production team will pull out all the stops with the finale. The critically acclaimed crime drama promises a dramatic and amazing finale to to the Byrde family's illegal ties with the Navarro drug gang. Part 2 storyline? What we know so far. What will happen in Part 2 is unknown, but there is plenty we can hypothesize. Darlene and Wyatt are slain by Javi in Ozark Season 4, Episode 1. Ruth confronted the Byrdes with a revolver after seeing their lifeless bodies and demanded to know what had happened. She then went on a rampage to exact revenge on Javi, which is likely to continue in Part 2, but whether she's able to track him down and avoid danger remains to be seen. Ruth confronted Javi and fired her revolver at him in the new teaser for the final run of episodes. But is this real or an imagined scene? And even if Ruth is successful and shoots Javi, will he survive? Furthermore, Jonah and Charlotte, who have been lurking in the background of the show for years, could play bigger parts in Part 2. However, it still remains to be seen whether the two will be involved in money laundering. Of course, there's still the flash-forward scene from the 4th season premiere, in which the Byrde family is engaged in a car accident. Will any of them make it through the ensuing carnage? Fans of Ozark have speculated that one of the Byrde family members may meet a horrible end. Wendy's erratic behavior and terrible judgments, especially those involving Uncle Ben's death, put her and her family in jeopardy in Ozark Season 4 Part 2, so it will be intriguing to see how that plays out. What do you think will go down in Part 2? Questions fans desperately need answered in Ozark Season 4 Part 2. What happened to the minivan accident? Another big question mark we hope is answered in Part 2 is the minivan accident. The Byrde family is driving down the road in the 4th season of Ozark, while Marty and Wendy discuss the FBI, and Wendy adds 48 more hours, implying that they may be free of the incredibly unstable lives they have been experiencing throughout the series. A semi-truck blares its horn after the family had a casual talk, forcing Marty to swerve and the minivan to smash and flip many times. That's all there is to it. The scene comes to a close there. Is it true that the accident happened? Is anyone still alive? Hopefully, this scene will be resolved in Season 4's second half. So, who will get out clean and who won't? Is another big question fans of the series have. No one gets out clean is the official tagline for Ozark's 4th season. However, the question remains, who will not emerge unscathed? The topic is answered in regard to some of the characters who perished in the early half of Season 4. Nonetheless, whether or not the key players come out clean remains. Ruth is out for retribution. Omar Navarro remains imprisoned. The Byrde family must now cope with Omar and Javi. There's no way of knowing how the final episodes will pan out for everyone. What will happen with the KC mob? Finally, what will happen to the Kansas City mob, sometimes known as the KC mob, is a crime syndicate in Ozark that is in charge of drug distribution for various dealers around the show. The KC mob began running drugs for the Snells, then the Byrdes, and finally the Navarro cartel. Some members of the KC mob were even assassinated by Navarro's rival cartel. In the opening half of Season 4, Frank Cosgrove Sr., the leader of the KC mob, had a disagreement with Darlene Snell. As a result, he confronted her in her home, and she killed him. It's unclear what Frank Cosgrove Jr. and the mob will do in the final episodes now that he's in command. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.